everyone, and welcome back to Movin' Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. It's the podcast where we watch The Great Muppet Caper minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Anthony Strand.
And I'm your other host, Ryan Rowe.
And joining us today, we have a first-time guest. Who are you, first-time guest?
I am Kelly Bartlett, and I was around on the Tough Pigs forum in the early days. So
that's right, a classic member of the gang.
Long-time Muppet fan friend.
Yes.
So, and today we are so thrilled to have you to join us today to talk about minutes 57 and 58 of The Great Muppet Caper. In these minutes, Peter Falk finishes telling Kermit's story, and then Kermit confronts Miss Piggy about the events of the previous night. So we come in the middle of Peter Falk's monologue here. He's just finishing up the story about Kermit and his brother-in-law Bernie and all that from last week. And then Kermit cuts him off by pointing out, "You are 100% wrong. I mean, nothing you've said has been right."
Well, he actually does get to the end of the story, though.
That's true. That's true. You're right. Cuts him off as a poor choice of words.
He takes the last of his money and sinks it into the glass slipper business. It's a sad story.
Right. Although, I've always felt like this bit kind of runs out of steam towards the end.
Oh, really? I loved it.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Good. I mean,
I assume you talked last week about Peter Falk and Columbo and, all that.
But I actually have on my notes to ask you, what Peter Falk thoughts you have. So go ahead.
Well, no, I didn't watch Columbo when I was a kid. It was around, but I was too young. And, but I mean, I definitely knew who he was and had that image because he, at the time, was huge and known for being the clever detective. So it's kind of brilliant that he's like the opposite of Sherlock Holmes here. I mean, he glances and then comes up with entirely the wrong story, which I thought was hilarious. And then I love that moment when Kermit tells him he's wrong, and then he's quiet for a second and thinking about it. Like, first of all, that he's shocked that bizarre story wasn't exactly right, and that he's totally confident that he's going to get it right this time. And it's like you guys on previous podcasts have talked about all the moments when the Muppets just have these beautiful little silent takes, and so he was kind of being a Muppet there, having that.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and it's not that I don't like this bit. There's just something about the way Kermit says you are 100%. I think it's because we, the audience, know that he's 100% wrong already.
Right.
So Kermit saying it out loud kind of makes it a little bit less funny to me. I don't know.
Do you think maybe it's too many little endings or buttons on the bit?
Yeah,
first he finishes the story, then Kermit tells him he's wrong, then he tells him, "Can you please leave? We're trying to make a movie."
Right.
Maybe it's too many endings.
Yeah, I kind of think it would be funnier if Kermit's immediate response was just, "I hate to be rude, but we're trying to do a movie." Yeah. Or something. I don't know. Again, this is a nitpick.
Yeah.
It's not like I hate the Great Muppet Caper now.
I suspected you did.
Right.
You heard it here, everyone. Anthony hates the Great Muppet Caper.
It's my least favorite movie.
No.
But I was going to say this. I like Kermit's line. I think his because his delivery is so dry. I think it works for it. And I'm kind of surprised this hasn't turned out to be any kind of internet meme, because it reminds me a little bit of that clip from Billy Madison where the guy tells Adam Sandler, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Everyone in this room is dumber for having listened to what you just said.
Yeah,
I've seen that used as a meme online when somebody says something dumb and somebody else wants to insult them. So I feel like this could be very useful for that. He says, "You are 100% wrong. I mean, nothing you've said has been right." So,
Well, it's almost like someone who runs a successful and popular Muppet fan site would make that meme if they wanted.
Yeah, maybe I'll put something together. Although, on the other hand, I'm already kind of annoyed at how often Kermit has been memed already with the none of my business, drinking the tea, and the thing where he's looking frustrated from that car commercial. So I don't know if I want to add even more to the memification of Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, it's too late. You did it already. It's out.
Yeah, well, Well, and actually, a slight tangent on that note. I actually today so I'm a middle school librarian, and I was talking to a class of 6th graders today, and one kid raises his hand and says, "Do you have any Kermit books?" And then his buddy started laughing. So just like the idea of Kermit the Frog is a joke.
Because they probably only seen it from those, like they don't really. That kid has probably never seen a Muppet movie or a Muppet TV show, right?
Right. But so I immediately went into my office, grabbed my copy of Before You Leap, and handed it to him. That absolutely happened.
Because of course the answer was yes.
Right, of course.
Yeah. So, and now you have just made a lifelong Muppet fan in that kid.
Right, because he's going to read Jim Lewis's terrible frog puns and fall in love.
You never know.
All right.
You planted a seed.
That's true. I may have. But getting back to the topic of this scene, I was going to say, I love how polite Kermit is about asking him. Like Kermit says, "I hate to be rude, but we're trying to do a movie here," which is like so Kermit. It's such a like perfect.
Yeah.
Just like stay the course, get things back on track. Like it's perfect.
Well, it's also interesting because this guy doesn't seem to be aware. Like some of the Muppets all know they're in a movie for the most part, and it seems to be part of this. Like later, we'll see Peter Ustinov in a cameo. He will sort of acknowledge that he's in a movie, but it seems like the idea of this Peter Falk character, this disheveled gentleman, is that he actually doesn't know that this is a movie. He just somehow wandered in while they were shooting this thing and sat down on this bench next to Kermit just completely randomly.
Well, and he actually says, Kermit says, "We're trying to make a movie," and he actually says, "Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that."
I'm sorry.
And he doesn't even look up at the camera or anything like that. He's just like, "Oh, I didn't know that." He just so nonchalantly.
Yeah, and then he wanders off, and well, of course, before he wanders off, he tries to sell Kermit a watch.
Yes.
Right.
Which is really good. That's like the perfect punchline.
I can't think of any instance where Kermit has worn a watch. I mean, I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah, he tries to sell him a magic disappearing watch too, right? Did you notice how when he gets up, he's got the watch in his hand and he didn't before?
Oh, is that right?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, the hand that has the cigar, he's passed the cigar back over. But when he stands up, his hand that's closest to Kermit has a watch in it, which he doesn't until he's standing up. So
yeah, you're right. It just kind of materializes.
Yeah.
Continuity error. Wonder if that's on IMDb.
You should add it to the goofs.
Yes.
It's not much of one. I mean, you figure a guy like that's probably good at palming things,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
for sure.
Or I do like the idea that he was going to try to do a magic trick for Kermit.
Yeah, if Kermit didn't want to buy the watch, he's going to do magic.
Yeah.
Of course. But I do love that as he gets up, there's this shot of Kermit just looking disgusted as he shakes his head and says no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love anytime that a puppet shows that kind of like clear emotion. We've talked about that a lot on this movie, I feel like, but
yeah,
it delights me every time.
Yeah,
right, for sure.
That's a good one. Yeah.
There is actually one additional bit in the July 22nd, 1980 draft of the screenplay with the disheveled gentleman. After Kermit tells him that his guess at his story was completely wrong, and he says, "How about this?" He actually continues. He says, "Okay, how about this? You were walking along the beach one Tuesday morning when you saw the shattered hulk of a World War II tanker bobbing up and down near the jetty." And then that's when Kermit interrupts him.
That's pretty good.
I know we've just said that maybe this goes on or maybe this shouldn't go on any further, but I actually would have liked to see that. Something about the word choice in that just makes me laugh.
Yeah, I like that too. And
on a Tuesday morning, you saw the shattered hulk of a World War II tanker.
Yeah, that's great too.
Yeah,
but I love that Kermit reasserts control at this moment. He we sometimes talk about like the boring human parts in Muppet movies, and he dismisses the human here.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. Absolutely.
I mean, not that I found this part boring remotely, but like he's kind of like, okay, all right, human, like we're
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else about Peter Falk before we bid him farewell?
Only one more thing. It's not about him specifically, but just that this part of the movie, like a thing that I love about this moment is this is the sad part of the movie. And it's hilarious. I mean,
Yeah.
like this is kind of the low moment because there are a couple of little reversals and things later, but everything's so frenetic that you don't really have time to like kind of sit with it. So this is like the down moment in the movie, and yet it's completely signaling to you the whole time that it's going to be okay. I mean, even with the glass slipper, like we see the glass slipper and we know this is a Cinderella story and we know how that ends. Like, and Kermit never even says anything about being sad. And then the only thing that he says is like reasserting that this is a movie and we're going to move on with it. And I don't know, there's something lovely about the lowest point in the movie being like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
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 Like
No,
that
that's true. So moving on then to the next thing Kermit hears is Piggy. We hear her yell, "Get your filthy hands off me."
Mm-hmm.
And then we see her. She's chastising a handsy fellow.
We also hear a splash.
Right. And then we go over, we see Piggy, and there's a guy with a bowler hat holding an umbrella in the pond. Now, he says, "I beg your pardon, young lady." And Piggy says, "Just keep your hands to yourself, turkey." Right? Do we think this guy actually like a proposition to Miss Piggy? Because he seems very confused about the whole thing.
We really don't have a lot of evidence either way. He does seem completely taken aback, like he can't imagine any reason why Piggy would push him into the pond. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's exactly what he wants everyone to believe who happens to be watching.
Yeah. I figure he's confused because he just like stumbled out of a time machine from the 1920s or 30s. Like this is 1981. Are people still wearing bowler hats and carrying umbrellas? And
I mean, in this movie, like look at everyone at the Dubonnet Club, right? Look at Robert Benchley sitting on the park bench when we first get to England. Like this movie kind of takes place in a weird out of time.
Morley.
That's true.
Robert Morley. What did I say?
Robert Benchley.
Oh, that would have. He was dead, I think, by this time, but that would have been good too.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Yeah.
But yeah, Robert Morley. Yeah, it's just this movie. It takes so many cues from 1930s musicals and things,
Right. Yeah.
He's this guy is kind of a type. He's just this very British.
He's just
British
like he's like a shocked gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah. In case you forgot where you were.
Right. Well, and as far as I can tell, like Muppet Wiki doesn't list an actor for this character.
No, I don't think we know who he is.
No, and IMDb thinks that he is the French New Wave film director Eric Romer, which is certainly not true.
Yeah, no. I saw that too, which is 0% chance. That's like
right.
That is as likely as Jim Henson playing a minor in Ernest Goes to Camp,
right.
Which is another thing IMDb claims.
Also not true.
Also not true. Sometimes IMDb is wrong. So anyways, we don't know who the actor is, but he really throws himself into the part here, I feel like, for such a tiny part. Like he's very,
Yeah, he gives it everything he's got. And, this is not, this is kind of a thankless role because he has to be, soaking wet in this pond.
Right, and possibly someone who just attacked Miss Piggy. Like, that's all we know about him, is that Miss Piggy throws him into the water for getting grabby, right?
Yeah.
Which is, again, this is one of those things where, like, watching it 2 minutes at a time, I've never given that guy a second worth of thought.
No.
Till now.
Why would you?
Right. But
he's just a device for making noise and drawing attention that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So then Kermit and Piggy have some classic romantic comedy banter for the rest of this scene. And I love this. This is like this scene and into the next minutes. Like this might be my favorite scene in the movie.
It's a good one. And it starts with Kermit saying, "Hey, you," because he still doesn't know her real name.
He doesn't know Piggy's name. Yeah. And then of course he says, well, if it isn't the fake Lady Holiday.
Yeah.
And Piggy being demure, one of her signature poses from her portfolio. She doesn't do the pose, but she behaves very demurely and says, hello.
This was the thing I was going to ask you. So she does her like classic, okay, I'm going to turn around and then make my entrance, even though I'm already in the scene, like the turnaround thing. Like, is that taken from a particular like old movie actress, or is it a trope or something? She does that all the time, and she does it several times in this movie where she just, like does the slow turnaround.
Well, I mean, there's like Norma Desmond, right? Like, so which obviously like Piggy's not over the hill. Piggy's not. Norma Desmond, for those who might not know, is Gloria Swanson's character in Sunset Boulevard, who's a faded silent movie actress and kind of acts like she's starring in a movie all the time, even though she's just at home with her butler, her kept man, and occasionally her chimpanzee. It's kind of like that, right? Like that's kind of what Piggy's doing, just like behaving as though she's in the spotlight at all times.
Yeah, it's funny though that when she turns around as Kermit approaches, it does kind of play as if it's a reveal, even though we've just seen her face in the previous shot.
Right, and heard her incredibly distinctive voice.
Yes.
Right.
It's a reveal to Kermit, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love that moment when she turns around and sees him, because I have no idea how Piggy's face can be that expressive. Like, she goes from I'm ticked off with this guy in the pond to she looks delighted to see him, in that just like brief second where did she change his expression? It doesn't seem possible, but
yeah,
it's
right.
lovely.
Well, I mean that's Frank Oz though, That guy can do magic with puppets.
The puppet is great.
I don't know how he does
Frank Oz is one of the greatest puppeteers in the world.
Yeah. It's whatever that combination is unbeatable.
Yeah. So she turns around. She says, hello. Then they argue about the night before. Kermit says he doesn't know her name. And she introduces herself as Miss Piggy. So 57 and a half minutes into this movie, it learns Piggy's name. So that's exciting. But then they argue, and okay, is it just me? Something I've always thought about this scene is that there are certain lines here where Kermit does not sound like Kermit at all.
Yes, absolutely. I've always thought that too. I used to think it was
some
kind of error in the audio mixing of the old VHS release of this, but it just something is off about it.
Yeah. The way he says, well, I saw the way you were dancing with that guy last night. Like, he sounds more like
that guy last night.
Yeah, he sounds more like. Yeah, he sounds like a morning zoo DJ or something. Like like he sounds like Hank Azaria on The Simpsons doing the like these clowns in Congress like voice.
Yeah,
and I don't know why.
I wouldn't have thought to compare it to that, but sure.
Yeah, well, I saw the way you were dancing with that guy last night.
It's like Jim Henson briefly forgot how to do Kermit's voice. And then Piggy says, you're jealous. And Kermit says, I am not. And he sounds like Kermit again.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like two lines.
Well, he's moving during that line, where he's saying that guy last night. Like, could that affect the sound? I mean, he's physically, having to move.
I guess it could. It's just so strange. It's that in like 35 years of playing Kermit,
I
don't think I've ever heard another example of Jim Henson's voice sounding like it does here. It's very odd.
Think of another, but maybe if he was out of breath or he was kind of squished doing this shot or something,
or maybe Kermit's experiencing a different emotion and he's
that's true. Kermit is extremely jealous. Maybe when he gets jealous, his voice. Your dancing partner happens to be a jewel thief. What do you think of that?
This is a movie. They had obviously a whole post-production period on this where they could have dubbed that over if they had thought that it needed to be changed, and they didn't. So
obviously the director of this movie plays Kermit.
Yes, exactly. So he was spending a lot of time with this.
Well, I wonder if he was going for something specific.
Could be
that Kermit. I don't know. Their emotions are so raw that Kermit's unaffected voice comes out or something. I don't know. It's
right.
weird.
Yeah, but then his little like noise that he makes is like perfect Kermit.
Yeah, that's totally Kermity.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree with you. I absolutely love this moment, and I mean, Piggy has a lot of wish fulfillment moments in this movie, but I think in a way this is the best one because the thing that she's wanted since the first season of The Muppet Show is for Kermit to be jealous of her, and here he really is, and she really didn't have to try. You know, she didn't engineer it. She did, like, Nikki just liked her, and so she just legitimately is this desirable.
Yeah, you're right. It's not that she's pretending, having Scooter pretend to send flowers to her dressing room.
It's an interesting variation of that facet of the Kermit and Piggy dynamic that we don't really think about very often. Maybe that Kermit is capable of, or maybe it's just that his real feelings for Piggy tend to come out most easily when he's feeling jealous. Like in the Christopher Reeve episode of The Muppet Show where she's kind of like, she keeps saying things like, "Oh, he's such a hunk," and Kermit says, "She never calls me a hunk." So it's like,
that's true.
The moments where Kermit actually realizes how he feels about Piggy tend to be the ones where he's jealous. Although in this, we've already established that he's really into her.
Yeah,
so
he's like,
so even more so
he's
in
all
this
about
scene.
her.
Yeah, but I think that we know that she equates jealousy with love. You know, she like I think in the Avery Shriver episode, she even says when she finds out he's jealous, "Oh, he really likes me or really loves me," or something, you know. So so I kind of feel like this might be her happiest moment where she's like, "Oh, like this, he's, you know, you're jealous, you really care about me."
Right. Well,
Just
and
what
of
she's
course,
always wanted.
Well, and of course, to the point where he says, "I am not," and she jumps up and down and excitedly yells, "You are, you are, you are, you are."
Right. And breaks the moment totally, which is maybe also part of their relationship.
Right. And then Kermit makes a disgusted grunt at her. Like that's Kermit and Piggy, right? Like that's the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Versions of them.
His little face when he does the is just perfect.
Yeah, I love it. And then Piggy begs for his forgiveness, and we end with Kermit saying, "Piggy, hold it." And then she does. Like that's the end of this clip. So
right.
Will she continue to hold it? Come back next week to find out.
Come back next week for the next one. We're not there's still other things we can talk about. I love the music during this scene where they're walking. It has this like peppy little like bouncy out for a stroll music.
Yeah, just this little jaunty cue that kind of starts with a flourish as they start doing their little walk and talk.
Yeah, I think it's great. And we've talked about this before. Joe Raposo did write the score for this too, right? In addition to the songs.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah. So he's great. That's all good.
He is.
All right. Well, that was just about all I had. Any final thoughts before we close? Kelly, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't know that I have anything else specifically about these scenes. Yeah.
All right. Ryan, what do you have?
I just wanted to mention Piggy's costume because I think this scene might be the only time we see this because I think she's changed by the following scene when they start the musical number. But as with her other costumes in this movie, it looks very fashionable to me. This sort of suit with the coat, I guess it's a trench coat and the scarf. And then I really like the hat, which covers one of her ears and has a hole cut out for the other ear to stick out.
Yeah, that's great.
So, good clothes.
It is. It is beautiful. And it's her color. It's that perfect lavender that matches her eyelids or whatever it is.
Yeah, maybe that's why
her eyelids.
So good, yeah. We should all wear clothes that match our eyelids.
Her eyelids and her gloves, right? Like, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah, they go well with her gloves.
Yeah. Actually, I remember there was a quiz in an issue of TV Guide probably 20 years ago that said something about like Frank Oz voiced which three of these characters, and it was like Miss Piggy, Yoda, Grover, and something completely Barney,
Tinky Winky.
Yeah, Tinky Winky probably. And but it was a picture of Miss Piggy in this costume, in that. And I remember thinking like, man, Piggy looks great in that. Like reading that at the time when I was a teenager. So yeah, it's great. Piggy, some of her best looks in this movie. So Kelly, we like to ask our guests, what's your history with the Great Muppet Caper? Do you remember the first time you saw it? And where would you rank it among all the Muppet movies?
I do remember the first time I saw it. I was the perfect age. I was 7 years old when it came out in the theater, and I saw it in the theater. And I remember it's one of those like spatial memories where I remember where I was during the balloon scene at the beginning. And I think I only remember it because of my family referred to it so often. You know, anytime there were credits, we were like, "Oh, they all have families," you know. And I remember. So I think that's the only reason I remember it, because the thing that was amazing about being a 7-year-old in 1981 was that it wasn't unusual to see the Muppets. Like, you know, they were on TV every week, or they had been. And, you know, of course you're going to go to the big movie at the movie theater and it's going to be Muppets. And I had a Muppets lunchbox and, you know, they were everywhere.
Right.
What a time.
So, did you see the Muppet movie in the theater when you were 5?
I'm not sure. I asked my parents and they think that we did, but they're not sure. I think we did, because I, again, have one of those like spatial memory kind of things about that moment when the film melts. Because that was a thing that happened, you know, film really did melt. And, but I'm not 100% sure that that's a real memory and not a constructed one, because I, you know, was only 5. So.
Sure. Yeah.
But the Great Muppet Caper is my favorite of the Muppet movies. And sort of for the reason we were talking about, it's just the most joyful of the movies. And I love the original Muppet movie, but I think of it as kind of the prequel to this one, because
I love that.
Well, it sets up everything that pays off in this movie. I mean, this is the point where they make it. You know, the Muppet Show, they're struggling to keep going, and, you know, maybe someday they'll make it. And then the Muppet movie is the journey to Hollywood. And then, you know, oh, how great it'll be when we can be singing and dancing and making people happy. And then this is it. And from the beginning of this movie, they broadcast that, like, we are so happy to be here and this is going to be great. And it's going to be great throughout. And it's going to be fantastic. And then they keep reminding you throughout. And like, you know, it's just this joyful moment for all of them. And they all get what they want. You know, we were talking about Piggy, but I think all the major characters, like, they all get what they want most in this movie, and the things that they want are set up in the previous movie. And so it's kind of the apex of.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I love the idea that this is like Kermit gets a contract with Orson Welles at the end of the movie. And then this is the movie that he actually makes.
He is now a movie star.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, like, when he's getting dressed for the date and he has that stepping out with a star, like, that's his little moment of getting to enjoy it, you know, which I think is why he tells Fozzie, like, he doesn't tell him till the end of the song, you can come with me. Like, he has that one little moment of like, I'm Fred Astaire now. Like, this is it. I'm, you know, I'm making millions of people happy.
What he always dreamed about while he was watching those double features.
Exactly. Yeah. And Gonzo gets to plummet from even greater heights. And so.
And Fozzie gets to go on a date with Kermit.
Well, I mean, Fozzie gets to. What does Fozzie want? He wants to be a team with Kermit.
Yeah, he likes. He wants to feel like he's part of the gang.
Yeah. He's you convinced me. Like, we'll be a team. And how much more of a team can you be than being like identical twins and going on this adventure together? So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so I thoroughly love it. It's my favorite.
Man, what a great read of this movie. I love that. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having me on here. This is a delight.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you could come. So that just about brings us down to the end for today. Listeners, please check out toughpigs.com on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere you can find us. Our theme music is by Stacy Rosen. Thank you, Stacy. Our logo was designed by Morgan Davey. Thank you, Morgan. You can follow me on Twitter at Zeppo Marxist. You can follow Ryan at MeRyanRowe. And Kelly, where can our listeners find you online?
I have a comic strip that's called Little Niddles. So Instagram is probably the best place to find that. It's little, like small things, and then Niddles, Niddles.
And it is wonderful. I love it.
It is, yes.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Like, obviously we're friends, but also even if we weren't, I just think it's a great strip.
Aw,
So,
wow, thank you.
So yeah, I definitely think everyone should check it out. And if you're so inclined, listeners, you can also give us a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you happen to listen to podcasts. And you can tell all your friends to listen to this show. Join us again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.